Hey, what's up there, everybody? Mystery Wheel Gunner back here with you again. Okay, first the quick disclaimer. Dear YouTube censors, I'm not selling any of these guns. I'm just doing a fun little video featuring firearms. All right, let's get to it. Today we have Beauty versus the Beast. Yeah, that's right. Another Revolver versus Revolver setup here. Once again, this is just for fun. Some of you are here for purchase confirmation, hoping your gun of choice wins, and that's fine. We all do that. But again, it's mostly just for fun. If the gun you're rooting for doesn't happen to win in my video, it doesn't mean your gun's a loser. Doesn't mean you're a loser unless you don't subscribe. Just saying. Anyway, here we go. Okay, first off, I did make some modifications to the Python. All right. The front sight, oh, hang on. We are empty. And we are empty. So this has the fiber optic on it. And that's okay. I'm not going to take it off. You know why? Because currently they do sell a Target version of the Python. It is the same thing as the regular Python. In fact, the MSRP is the same as the regular Python. The only difference is the Target Python comes with the fiber optic straight from the factory. So we'll just treat this as a, kind of built it myself Target Python. The grips are different. I will roll in some B footage here of the OEM wooden grip, but just know that these Colina grips are not factory grips. So when I'm not going to put the OEMs on here just for this. I'll just roll in B footage of what the OEM grips look like. All right, so here we go. Let's address the big elephant in the room first. I think you already know what I'm talking about. Beauty versus the Beast. Which one of these wins the beauty contest? And of course, it's not this one. That's right. Come on, people. It's the Python. I mean, come on. Yeah, I know Chiappa kind of did some things right. I mean, vented rib. And oh man, that's a really big rib. And it is vented. Wow, that's a vented rib. But, maybe a little too much of a good thing. This is a nice, aesthetically pleasing vented rib. Obviously, I know why Chiappa did this for the Rhino. For those of you who don't know, the Rhinos fire from the bottom chamber. If I can get my thumb there. See that? See how the barrel is aligned with the bottommost or the 6 o'clock chamber. So, you got to have a place to put, the rest of this stuff, right? So you end up with a very high bore axis. It's almost like an AR-15 with how tall the sights sit in relation to your bore axis. But, I guess if they would have left this solid, maybe it would have been a little too front heavy. But maybe they could have just milled some cuts. Maybe fluted it or something else to take off that weight. But they decided, you know what? Let's vent that rib a little too ventilated. But it is what it is. Python wins the beauty contest. Next up, the front sight. Both of these guns come from the factory with the fiber optic front. Like I said, we're going to treat this Python like it was Target Python. So pretty nice on both. I do like the fiber optics. That's just a preference. I'm not saying they're better than the ramp. But since they both have the fiber optic, we got to judge it on something else. And in this case, they're going to be judged on the quick change system. And yeah, the Rhino doesn't really have a quick change. It looks like you gotta drive some pins out roll pins. Not a huge pain in the butt, but nowhere near as easily as the Python's quick change. We've already safety checked it, so don't be scared when we look down that muzzle. See that little recess in there? That contains a little grub screw, which secures the front sight to this rib. So all you got to do is put your Allen key in there, loosen up that grub screw. This pops right out. Put your replacement front sight in, tighten up that grub screw, and you're good to go. So for the front sight, Python. Well, we did the front sight. Of course, we got to do the rear sight. All right. My Python has an aftermarket rear sight blade. So I'm going to roll in some B footage if I can find some good B-roll of the original rear sight blade. This is not real great. My upgraded one is beefier and it fits tighter in there. But the original OEM rear sight blade and complete rear sight assembly is quite frankly kind of trash, especially considering that if you do buy the Target Python, guess what? You don't really get Target rear sights. They're crap. What happens is, you see that screw right there? That's another grub screw. It's pretty much the same size as the grub screw here for the front sight. And this secures the rear sight blade into position. So it fixes it into position. On my upgraded rear sight blade, it's in the center. The OEM one has it off center. It's weird. Anyway, for the Pythons, you have to loosen that so that the rear sight blade can move, and then you make your adjustment there. And when you make your adjustment, it freewheels. There are no clicks to feel. Yeah, it's loose. And then you have to guesstimate, via, rotation, 1/8 of a turn, whatever, and then guesstimate, and then lock it back down, take your test shot. It's just not optimal. Let's go on to the Rhino. This is the way it should be done. All right. Click adjustable. Oh, here's the weird part. For elevation on the Python, it is click adjustable. Yeah, wrap your head around that one. Click adjustable for elevation and unlock and freewheel for windage. Whoa. Anyway, for the Rhino, not only do you get fiber optic pipes in the back, you don't get the fiber optic pipes in the back for the Python. You also get click adjustable both for elevation and for windage. So it's pretty clear. For the rear sight, it is the Rhino. All right, here we go. The grips. Again, these are Kulina grips, so I can't really use these grips for this competition. I'm going to show them because I'm not going to take these off just for this video. They're so pretty. Anyway, let me roll in the B footage of the Python with the OEM grips. They look pretty nice. They are laminate grips. Nothing wrong with laminate. I mean, some of them can be kind of loud, but as long as the correct pattern is used, you can get some really aesthetically pleasing laminate grips out there. Anyway, it's going to be kind of difficult because of the Rhino's low bore axis. As weird as these grips look, they are comfortable. And they're actually made out of wood. They're not the ugly plastic. All right. I mean, not the greatest figuring on this wood, but it looks nice. To me, wood on metal looks better than rubber on metal. That's just me. So, I'm going to have to call this, well, kind of a tie. Even the OEM grips on the Python, I think aesthetically look better than the Rhino. That being said, though, the Rhino still has nice looking wood grips. I mean, yeah, they're kind of funny shaped, but wow, the aesthetics are wonderful. It's one of those things. You just got to hold one of these in your hand and suddenly you get it. It's like, man, that just works. So Python wins on the classic aesthetics. They're really nice. But the OEM grips on the Python, I think, are kind of weak. They're a little too thin for my tastes. And because this is my video, that's what we're going on, my tastes. A little too thin. That's why I upgraded to the Kalina Grips Fat Target Python. I like big grips, and I cannot lie. You other wheel gunners can't deny. All right. But again, these just feel so good. So OEM Python grips versus OEM Chiappa Rhino. I have to call it a tie. Chiappa, if you can make these just a little bit prettier, you got a home run. Ergonomics on cylinder release. So I've heard different theories on, how I'm doing it wrong with the Colts. Maybe maybe you do it like this. Because usually on the range, I just do that, But I guess I'm supposed to use my support hand and do this and whatever. It works, but not gonna lie here. Come on now. I mean, you've seen the videos of Jerry Michalek breaking world's records. He did that one with like 12 shots in how many seconds? So 6 shots, reload, then 6. No way Jerry Michalek is pulling off that fast of a reload with the Colt system. I'm sorry. No, he ain't doing it. Okay. It's just not as ergonomic as the cylinder release on other revolvers. But hey, Colt fans, prove me wrong. Go ahead and break Jerry Michalek's 6 shots, reloaded another 6. Go ahead and break that record with your Colt with the pullback cylinder release. Anyway, the Rhino, this is great. Yeah, look at that. It's a pull down. That's awesome. That is very ergonomic. And where it is positioned is fantastic. It feels like you're activating the safety off of a 1911. It's right there. That is beautiful. I love my Smith & Wessons because of that push forward. Dare I say, this beats it. I mean, that is just, oh. I know Jerry shoots for Smith & Wesson, but I just wonder if he did shoot a Rhino, I wonder if he could beat his old record just because of the ergonomics here. But then again, because of the way the Smith & Wesson's push button system is, you can just buy that extender and it's going to be almost the same. Anywho, yeah, I know. I should stop talking about Smith & Wesson. They're not even in this video. So, ergonomics for cylinder release. Chiappa Rhino. Next up, how easy is it to accessorize? Well, clear winner. Come on now. The Rhino, it's got the optics rail up top, the accessory rail on the bottom, so you can put lights, lasers, red dots, whatever you want on this. And yes, I know, you can buy things like the Wigatini rail. I believe that you just have to take off the rear sight, and you gotta punch this pin out to take this assembly off. Not too big of a deal. Just got to invest in a little punch. So it's not impossible. Whoops, bumped my camera. So it's not impossible to accessorize your Python by putting a rail here. I've seen other accessories. I don't know where they got them. I'll have to ask that YouTube creator, but I've seen YouTube creators with some really Fallout style looking Pythons where they were able to put, it somehow mounts to the Python in some way and it gives you rails here up front. So it can be done. And it doesn't look like they had to extensively modify their Python. It looks like it was just something that, clamped on somehow. But again, right out of the box with no other installation needed, yeah, the Rhino is the easier one to accessorize. All right, here we go. Got a safety check again because we're gonna pull some triggers, baby. No, not like that, you pervs. Yes, I stole that from the Horror Geek. All right. Python, well known for having a silky smooth double action. I've said this before, I'll say it again. It feels like the internals are running off of ball bearings. Gosh, that is so smooth. And you guys know I love my Smith & Wessons, but good Lord, this Python, that is so glassy, smooth, has a very linear pull. That is, oh, so nice, so nice. The Rhino, surprisingly, also very smooth. It seems to have a quicker trigger. The pull seems to be a bit shorter. Maybe that's just me. Python's trigger pull does seem a bit longer from beginning all the way to the snap. The Rhino's is a little bit more abrupt, but it is still very smooth. That being said, the Rhino seems to be just a little bit heavier, and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just making excuses for myself. It seems to stack it almost feels like it's stacking a little bit right at the end, but it might be also because of the shape of the trigger. And we'll get to that next. But smoothness of double action, pretty much a tie, but I'm gonna give the edge. So actually it's not a tie. I'm gonna give the edge to one gun. It's not a tie now, is it? Anywho, forgive my scrambled brain. Very close as far as smoothness, but I'm gonna have to give the edge to the Python just because it feels like it feels like the Rhino stacks a little bit. Now, here's the thing. It has a very wide trigger, and it's the whole thing with trigger ergonomics, trigger geometry, triggernometry, I guess you might say. All right, calm down, everybody. The Python's trigger is very nice. I think this is for me, the right width. It's not too skinny. It's not too fat. And I think that contributes greatly to how that trigger perspective, how you feel the trigger pull is. In my opinion, I think if Chiappa just thin down the trigger just a little bit. I have stubby fingers. Maybe that's why I don't like this fat trigger. For those of you who have longer fingers, maybe this feels more comfortable. But anyway, I'll just throw that in there. The trigger plus trigger pull, Python. All right, we did double action, time for single action. So, cocking the Python back is so buttery smooth. And then the pull, a bit heavier than you would think. It's not horrible, don't get me wrong. But if you've gotten used to a Smith & Wesson, this feels like it's 10 pounds. I am exaggerating there, but come on, you Smith & Wesson guys know what I'm talking about. Cocking back the hammer on the Rhino here, you're not going to do it in the same manner. Like on a Python, it is so smooth and light. You can just do that with your main hand. With the Rhino, you've got this thing in the way. Real hard to do. Plus, it is very stiff. Because this revolver fires from the 6 o'clock chamber, this obviously is not the real hammer. The real hammer is down here someplace. This is just a lever. This is a fake hammer. This is just the lever you pull to cock the hammer back. And it is stiff. It's a short throw, and you can see it's not reciprocating. I mean, even in double action, does not reciprocate. That's why it's got this flag. There's your indicator. So when you cock it back, that flag comes up to let you know it's cocked, because obviously the fake hammer won't indicate anything. Anyway, let's get to the pull. That is light. Lighter than the Python. Whoo, that is nice. So, for single action pull, got to give it to the Rhino. But in fairness, since I brought up the issue of cocking the hammer back, because that's what you need to do to put it into single action mode, cocking the hammer to go into single action mode, yeah, Python wins that one. Cylinder accessories, Rhino wins. It is cut from the factory for the moon clips, so it wins this category easily. No question there. Python is not cut from the factory for moon clips. So, but here's a caveat, and that's why I have my ammo out here. Apparently Euro brass might be a little different. I reload, so I'm going to pick one of these at random. All of these are Starline. This is all Starline brass. Hopefully you can see the head stamp. See the 2 stars and the line between them. Get it? Starline. Yeah, that's a clever way to advertise your company. Starline. Love it. Anyway, Starline brass is quite common. All right, and this is a good quality brass. This is not bargain basement brass. This is a great bit of brass for the money. And look at how easily it can lose it. It's in there, okay? You can see it's in there. I can't push it in anymore. All right, it's in that groove. And watch this. Let me move the Python out of the way. So, yeah, just a little bit of shaking, and the moon clip lets go of the brass. That's not how it should be. All right, it shouldn't have a death grip on your brass either. You shouldn't have to like fight it, but at the same time, again, look at that. That's in there. I can't push the brass in anymore. For those of you thinking, oh, it's not clicked in, it doesn't click. That's how loose it is. All right, that's as far as it'll go. And again, just as easily as that, it lets go. So if you get yourself a Rhino, if you're using Starline brass, I'm going to venture to say if you use any American ammo with American brass, you're going to need new moon clips. All right, buy them from TK Customs or whoever else is out there that makes Rhino moon clips. But don't use the Chiappa ones. They're obviously spec'd out for Euro brass, which is obviously just a hair bit thicker. But all right, don't worry, I'll pick that up. For cylinder accessories and the moon clips, Rhino wins. Oh, and for those of you wondering, yeah, you get 3 of them. I've tested all 3. All right, they're all spec'd out the same. Here, I'll prove it to you. Here's the one I was just using. Oops. As I bump the camera again, here, let me grab another one. I think it was this piece of brass. All right. Once again, it's clipped in all the way. And it falls free just with a little bit of shake. And for those of you who are going to say, oh, Mr. Wheel Gunner, you stupid man, you need to put all 6 in there because, you know, as it pushes on the, you know, on the metal, it like, you know, squeezes them together and, you know, it provides proper tension. Yeah, here we go. I got all 6. All right. Let's see. Does it hold on to it any better? No, it doesn't. Okay. No, look at that. Oh, there. Look at that. All right. No, it doesn't matter if there's 1 or 6 in here. They don't grab. All right, here we go. Let's tally up the score for the big winner, and it is... And again, this video is just meant to be for fun. The categories I chose to grade these revolvers on were categories that I chose because I chose them. Yeah, super scientific. Yeah, no, not really. Just for fun. There's a little bit of data here, but again, just meant to be a fun little video. If the revolver you were rooting for, if the revolver you own happened to win, awesome. Go hang out with your buddies at the bar and let them know your revolver beat the other one. If your revolver happened to lose, well, go cry in your cereal. Why? Because the extra sodium in your tears will give your cereal that savory flavor and actually make it taste a bit better. So there you go. I'm helping you out both ways. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Catch you all next time.